Hi friends, Etheria here, and today I want to talk about the difference between parsing and casual play. So I recently connected with another content creator by the name of Sen. Go ahead and check her channel out when you're done with this video. But anyhow, Sen plays usually tank at a pretty high level. Now, I've never parsed at all, and I don't really think parsing is for me, but that's not what this video is about. Through talking with Sen, I've kind of realized that the game seems to be an entirely different beast, depending on whether or not you're parsing. Probably everybody already knows this, but in case you don't, parsing is just trying to do as much damage as possible and kill the boss as fast as possible. It's also called speedruns sometimes. But the reason I say that the game is kind of different is because a casual player and a parser are going to be using their jobs different. They're literally going to have a different playstyle. So let's use White Mage as an example, because I think it's honestly the perfect example for this. I like using the lilies. I think using the lilies is fun. I don't necessarily care if using the lilies is a DPS loss, because it does not affect my team. You know what I mean? Like, even in an extreme trial, it doesn't really affect my team. However, if you are parsing, you are going to avoid using the White Mage lilies, because ever since Endwalker came out, the lilies have become a DPS loss. So normally, when you use the lilies, because they are a global cooldown skill, you would get some of that lost damage back in a Flatus Misery, and you still do, but the problem is that 4 GCD skills, so 3 lilies, 1 Afflatus Misery, is less damage than 4 glares, which is also a GCD skill. So if you're a parser, you're literally going to avoid using lilies as much as you can. Parsers do their best to weave off global cooldown skills with their global cooldown skills. So for White Mage, off global cooldown skills would be things like Asylum and Assize. The thing is that White Mage just doesn't actually have that many off global cooldown skills, so having Afflatus Misery be lower in potency than 4 glares is actually a really big hit to them, and it makes them not very optimized for parsing, from what I understand. But if, like me, you are a casual player, it can be kind of painful to try avoiding using lilies. This is because when you are running with pickup groups, you're doing roulettes, or even if you're doing raids in Party Finder, you don't usually have the type of communication that you would with a static, or like a parse static especially. The other thing is that parse groups, a lot of them will check people's FF logs, and they won't even let people in the group if they don't think their DPS is going to be good enough. So this means that parsers basically have the ultimate optimization. They learn the scripted fight, and every single player is top tier at their job. This person knows how to play their job very well, and they learn the fight, so everybody knows the mechanics, everybody knows exactly when to mitigate. It's all very scripted. However, as a casual player, again, this is not the case. You are often running roulettes. You are running things with Party Finder. And now sometimes you can get people from Party Finder to go into Discord, but these are not people that you're playing with on a regular basis. So you're usually just not going to reach the level of optimization and coordination that a parsing static can. So this is why, again, taking White Mage as the example, you're likely still going to be using lilies because you don't necessarily have good enough coordination or communication with the other healer and the rest of the group to not have to use them. If the team needs to be healed, you have to heal them, because if they die, you're probably not going to get enough DPS to kill the boss, especially if you're doing a fight like the new Extreme Trials where there are enrages. So you have to kill that boss before the enrage or everybody dies. So as you can see, it's a really different beast here. Another big thing about the White Mage lilies is they don't cost any mana, and right now White Mage is suffering pretty bad with mana. Honestly, it is a fix that we really need. We really need them to add some mana somewhere. But something that can help with that is using the lilies, because they don't cost you anything. But once again, a parser is going to avoid using the lilies because they're trying not to lose any DPS. So if you hear people saying things like this class is bad or whatnot, that might not necessarily be true. Rather, they're probably trying to say that for high-end parsing, this job's burst window is 3 minutes instead of 2, which apparently is the meta now. Or they might be talking about a job like White Mage where the kit isn't exactly optimized because of the lack of off-global cooldown skills. However, that does not mean that these jobs absolutely cannot clear a Savage raid, because that just isn't true. Every single job in the game is capable of entering the Savage, even the current Savage tier, and clearing. It simply means that it's not great for parsing. So if you ever see people talking shit about a job that you like to play, don't take it too hard. I mean, if you are a parser, then you might just be unlucky and have to switch to a different job. But if you're playing casually like me and like a lot of the player bases, then don't get caught up in stuff like that. Just enjoy playing whatever it is that you want to play. So that's why I think that the game is kind of two different things depending on whether you're parsing or not. Because when you're with the pickup group, you just gotta do what you gotta do, even if that means using lilies. Now, all that said, even as a casual player, you definitely can learn from parsers. You may not be able to optimize quite as much as they can. However, you can be like me and become a disgusting glare mage who avoids using lilies at all costs. I'm just kidding. I do still use my lilies, but I have been playing around and seeing how long I can go without using one, and relying on things like Size, Asylum, and then the occasional Medica too. I'm sure the random co-healers that are healing with me really enjoy just watching me slap a regen on everyone and keep glaring. So anyway, would you consider yourself a casual player or a parser? I'd love to hear in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. Bye!